everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of Highly Disputed. I'm your host, Mutant Encounter, and I'm here with our panelists, Kinderspiel, JefftheMagicGoat, and Monochrome94. There are two burning topics facing us today. The first of which, obviously, is the All-Star event, which begins tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We released the All-Star lineups a couple of days ago, so the first topic is to ask our panelists what they think of our All-Star.
All right. Well, first of all, I just want to say that I think that the fans and the players and the captains and casters and staff all did a very good job with these picks overall. Overall, I think that personally stayed out here. However, there's one little side note to that I would like to interject. It is that there was not as much love shown towards Lost Fox for the top lane, and I really was hoping to maybe see a Lost Fox as the one of the All-Stars in the top lane. We ended up seeing Jeremy Flip and that guy, both very strong top laners in our league. I know I've been joking for the majority of the split that guy, I call him the second best top laner in the ALS. First, obviously, in my opinion, being Jeremy Flip. So obviously not discounting him being here, but I was really I put in a vote for Lost Fox. I'm gonna say that, and I was a little disappointed we didn't see him come out here, as he's been a shining glimmer of hope in the mostly dark field that has been apes together strong in the split. But
okay,
other than that,
very
I think
clear.
Pretty good.
Let's be very clear. Volume matters, and that guy is loud.
Absolutely.
You get yourself noticed, and you get love for it. Like that's the most important thing there, right? You say a bunch of stuff, you get really loud, you make sure people know who you are, and when they come time to pick someone, they're gonna pick who they remember.
This is true. Mono, did you say you had a thought? You ever thought on this?
I voted for some of these people. That guy I don't think was one of them.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of that, though, again, I don't want to discredit that guy. Very strong player, very strong top laner. I've been calling him the second best top laner in the ALS for the majority of the season, so I definitely don't want it to be construed in the wrong way. Those are my thoughts on the little side note on the top lane picks. But other than that, what do you guys think? I think other than that, it's pretty spot on with most of these.
I mean, we have an entire team on here. Or more or less most of them.
That is true. We're seeing lots of NG. All 5 members of NG Blossom here, much like last split with ID.
So I did not vote for XDME. I think there are a couple of slightly more deserving supports. I did put Haxel, who is a little weird to call him a support, but I definitely listed Haxel just as a playmaking support. I kind of like him slightly more than XDME. But otherwise, this is pretty close to my ballot.
Yeah, Mono, you said you voted for a couple of different people. Who else were you having your eye on instead?
Well, so the bot laners, I definitely picked both of those, right? Catinator and Laijilu, easily the best ADCs we have. That one wasn't a choice.
I think is pretty strong too. I want to give him a shout out. But yeah, I agree. A Catinator and Laijilu definitely top tier.
All right, and the supports. Now we have SJ capping. It's supposed to be Troll to Noob, but Troll to Noob can't come. The supports were also my picks. I chose XDME. I feel like his mechanics are pretty solid, and I enjoy his play. He also is on one of the most winning teams we have, actually the most winning team we have. And Troll to Noob is actually a really good support, who I enjoy whose play really mimics that of my own, so I kind of felt a little bit of resonance there. He's better at it. I'm not going to tell any lies here, but I didn't have Jeremy Flip or that guy as my top laners. I chose... Really? Who did I choose? That guy wasn't a choice for me. His play is very hit or miss. It's not consistent. He is loud, but I wasn't going for the most popular. I was going for the most skilled.
Did you vote for Lost Fox? Please tell me you said yes.
I don't think I voted for Lost Fox. I don't think I remembered him, to be honest.
sad. It makes me sad.
Hey, volume matters.
Volume does matter. And Lost Fox has not been a particularly vocal member of our community. An active one, yes, he does play, he does perform, and he does perform well, but not vocal. And that guy, while vocal, I don't think is one of our best players. At least not one of our top two. Jeremy Flip, pretty solid. And who was my second vote? I can't remember.
Yes.
It could have been Yes.
Wall to chess.
Kevin's 2600 on Kinderspiel was a pretty consistent, strong performance in the top.
Yeah, I feel like also Kevin kind of has gone slipped under the radar. I may be incorrect about this. My memory is not 100%, but he played a little bit of mid to start off the split. But yeah, Kisses for Cats definitely has been super hot, and Kevin I definitely would agree with has been slept on a little bit.
I mean, I can respect Kevin as a top laner, definitely. If I was asked for my third pick, I think he would probably get it. He's definitely been solid. He's not let the team down, but I think one of the biggest challenges for any of these roles is, or any of these top laners is, are you playing someone that sits on an island for half the game? And that matters to me a lot. If they're sitting on an island, I get disappointed in that a little bit.
All right. Also want to touch on, since we have a minute, the team captains. It is the two highest vote leaders were I'm Candy and Ain't Your Mommy. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that. If not, but I'm curious.
I mean, those two are incredibly deserving players. I'm Candy has been one of the most destructive singular mid laners we have ever seen in our League Series. He's a monster, especially if you let him get on one of his main champions, LeBlanc or something along those lines. He's Syndra. He's terrifying, and I do not want to play against him. But
luckily we won't.
Ain't Your Mommy
this week.
And Ain't Your Mommy is a pretty solid jungler. Had a little bit of slip-ups, but he's also a very vocal member of the community and sticks out in the mind. There's a bit of a volume speaks for you right there.
Definitely.
I mean, I think captain is a role that, like, we can name somebody captain, but once, like, you're actually in the game and playing, I think whoever is the real captain stands up for themselves. Whoever can actually lead the team is going to stand up for themselves. So we might be naming them as captains, but that just remains to be seen. Are they the ones that are leading? Are they the ones that are, like, directing the team, like directing the draft, like doing shot calling? Are they that person? We have to see that in the game. Somebody else might be taking over in that role just from, like, natural leadership skills.
Yes, that might be taken over a little bit in game, but what hasn't been taken over was the actual draft of these two teams, as I'm Candy and H Mommy did execute that a little earlier on in the week. So, prediction-wise, which team do you think we're going to see a Team Candy victory for the All-Star game or a Team Ain't Your Mommy victory?
I'm going with Ain't Your Mommy. They've got Catnator and XDME in the bot lane, and I feel like, honestly, that combination is going to be better than Elijah Lu and SJ Capping. Black Oreo Cookies and I'm Candy, probably going to be one of the closer matchups. And I like the jungle style of Ain't Your Mommy. That being said, I think they lose top lane. I think Jeremy Flip just beats that guy out in top lane.
I am ready to deck everything out in red. I love Exasperated. I think he's one of the most talented players in the ALS. All things across this board being mostly equal, I think he is the most playmaking carry jungler that we've seen. He's the most successful at impacting the game. I think SJ Capping and Elijah Lu can build the kind of connection that a bot lane often has with just a few games together. Like, they might not be as deeply in sync as some, like, long-term support ADC teams can be in a competitive league game, but they can definitely take some very easy measures to sync up. I think Jeremy Flip is going to be the dominant force in top lane. I'm Candy and Black Oreo Cookie Black Oreo cookies, it really comes down to who they get to pick, because both of them have strong playmaking mid pools. They're both very dangerous on assassins, but they also have decently broad pools. So I think they're a coin flip. But I think in jungle and top lane, the clear advantage is for I'm Candy's team.
So you're going to go for Team Candy, Dub?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so I'm the tiebreaker, I guess. I'm definitely also going to go with Team Candy for the victory. I mean, I'm just looking at it. Again, you look at the top lane. Jeremy Flip, an absolute...
Y'all are wrong.
Dude, no. Hear me out here. Jeremy Flip, an absolute monster. That guy has not been looking as strong recently as well. So on top of that, it's just going to be... I think we're going to see definitely one side top lane. And they also got I'm Candy and Lai Xiaolu on the same team. Like, two of probably the two strongest solo players like in the game. We've seen their CS numbers is absolutely ridiculous and off the charts on such a consistent basis. Just so strong. And then again, like as Jeff was saying, exasperated in the jungle. I don't know. I feel like Candy definitely won this draft. Again, not that any of the players up here are bad for obvious reasons, but I think Candy definitely has the winning team here, and we're gonna see it on tomorrow.
Yeah, we will find out the answer to that question tomorrow evening. That's going to be the last event of the All-Star event. It'll probably start around 11:30 p.m. EST. So we'll see how that turns out. Can I get a prediction from you guys for the Casters versus Captains game?
I'm going to plead the fifth.
We're going to get dunked.
We're going to get hella dunked. But, I just want to put it out there. Ain't your mommy, I ain't scared. I ain't scared of you.
Yeah, he's playing support against you, right?
Yes, he specifically chose my opposite lane. He literally waited for me to say what I was playing to counter choose me. He wants to go after me, and I ain't scared.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to go well for us, but it's not supposed to go well for us. And, since Mono's already called out my plans to play, like, an AP mid laner as a jungler, whatever.
I'm going to continue to plead the fifth.
All right. What skin would you pick as your prize if you won the 1v1 tournament?
Ooh.
Hold up.
That's tough, actually. I just bought the new Vayne skin, so I would have said that, but I just got that one. But that's tough.
Hold up. There is a...
Maybe the
I'm
Thresh
gonna have
one.
to
The new Spirit Blossom Thresh skin's pretty tough. I might go for that.
The like demon form one's pretty nice. But,
no, I'm sorry. Spirit Blossom Yasuo, 100%.
Oh, gross! Ew. Now what is
gross?
That's just anger. I mean, if I were to get a skin, there's one skin that I've never actually gotten for myself that I always should have, and that's Corporate Mundo. I don't know why I don't own it. No, it's actually still a legendary skin all these years later.
All right, before we hear from Mono, I'm going to amend mine actually to Infernal Karthus, because that skin's honestly dope.
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful.
All right, follow me on this. The ultimate power move, Woad Ash.
Doesn't make any sense. Okay,
I can feel it. No, that's
You literally, it was like the worst skin I could find. Like,
oh no, I got that.
Maybe Shurima Desert
clear.
Zillion. Like maybe Shurima Desert
Groovy
Zillion. Like a
Groovy Zillion.
No, I own Groovy Zillion. At least that one's got like isn't just the straight up recolor. But like Woad Ash or like Shurima Desert Zillion are just recolors. Like I would literally find the ugliest skin I could to request. That's the ultimate power move right there.
All right. Well, if any of our listeners would like to compete for a chance to request either an awesome or a hideous skin as their prize, registration for the 1v1 tournament is still open until 5 p.m. EST tomorrow. So definitely sign up for that if you haven't already. Now, as exciting as the All-Star event is, it would be remiss if we didn't also spend some time discussing the playoff race, because we're heading into Week 8. There are 2 weeks left in the regular season. And so there are 2 pretty important positions on the standings board that we should probably discuss. And the first of those is the first and second seed versus the third through sixth seed. So the second seed versus third seed is important because the first 2 seeds get a bye. So my question for you all is Iron Dragon going to be able to hold on to that second seed, or do you think Kisses for Cats is going to be able to pick up a game or 2 games on them in the next 2 weeks? Now, if there is a tie in the standings, that will be determined by average goal differential over the course of the season. At the moment, Iron Dragon is above Kisses for Cats on that stat, but it's not by a landslide, so a big game or 2 big games could potentially tip the balance there. So what do you guys think?
All right, Iron Dragon fanboy here. I'm staying strong. I think Iron ID has this. They're going to make it into the second place easy.
Easy, huh? Well, I'm not going to disagree with you straight out, but I would... Just an interesting thing to note is that their schedule to round off the split, their last 3 games are not super easy. They do play HMD on Saturday, which obviously HMD is not the strongest team, but they gave Iron Dragon a loss earlier in the split, as well as put up a pretty good fight against NG last week. So definitely the dark horse team that could pull off another upset. And then they play JuliaDuck and NG Blossom, so definitely not a super easy schedule. But if I have to put my money on it, I think they're going to hold on to the second seed. Because Kisses for Cats has to play NG Blossom as well still, and they don't have an easy schedule either.
So I've been pretty critical of Iron Dragons for the past split. I've been saying they are going to pick up losses from weak early gameplay. They need to really address that and stop worrying about just hyper late scaling if they want to be consistently good. And the past couple of weeks, they have been. Like, they're really being able to play more than just one game style. I really respect that from them, and I think, I think they can beat JuliaDuck. I think they can beat Huge Minion difference this time. I'm not positive about NG Blossom, but I don't think anyone would be shocked by that. So I think they can win 2 of their next 3. I don't know that Kisses for Cats can win out on all those games either. So I think they'll both end up going 2-1 on the back end of the stretch, and Iron Dragon will hold on to second seed.
Yeah, I really think it just comes down to whether or not Iron Dragon can pick up 2 of the 3 games, because there's be betting on whether or not Kisses for Cats is able to pick up the 3-0, including against NG. So probably if they're able to beat both the other games of HMD and JuliaDuck, they'll probably be fine. But again, it might not happen, so we'll have to see.
I mean, it's going to be a challenge. Like, none of these are like super easy. JuliaDuck has really been hit or miss, and a lot of times they're misses if they show up. But I think Iron Dragons can walk away with 2-1.
It gets interesting if they end up dropping one of those games, for sure. So definitely they need to win both of those to remain cool and calm and collected through the finish line. But yeah, we'll just have to see.
All right. Now, the other important point on the standings board to look at is the border between the 6th and 7th seeds, because there are 6 positions in the playoffs. So at the moment, JuliaDuck and Huge Minion Difference are tied for 6th place. You can see that Trigger Happy is only 1 game ahead of them. And the way tiebreakers work around that break is that there will be a runoff if there are 2 or 3 players tied there. So my question is, who do you see making it to the playoffs 2 weeks from now? Who's going to be above that line and who's going to be below it?
Again, it matters if JuliaDuck shows up, but they've got some games left. Like, they have some hard games left. They have real matches to play, and it's not going to be easy. So, I mean, they're playing Trigger Happy next week. They're playing Smug Club next week. So Trigger Happy's a pretty challenging game. Smug Club, I don't know, but they have to beat Iron Dragon, and that's going to be difficult.
Yeah, all three of the teams, Trigger Happy, JuliaDuck, and HMD, all have one sort of easier game. They have a game against either Smug or Apes. But the other three remaining games are all pretty challenging. Trigger Happy and JuliaDuck, or HMD rather, both playing against NG still. So,
I mean, Huge Minion Difference has to play against Iron Dragon. They have to play against Smug Club. They have to play against Glacial Rising Phoenix. And they have to play against Iron Dragon. 2 of those games are nightmares. One of those games is going to be challenging because Glacial Rising Phoenix is that solid middle of the pack, or to upper middle of the pack team, and then they have a relatively easy game.
but they don't even have to pick up any ground on Trigger Happy theoretically. They just have to beat out JuliaDuck. Or Trigger Happy if Trigger Happy doesn't perform. So it really is such an open field still with 4 games left to go. It's hard to really just hammer out what's going to happen. But yeah,
all right, you guys are cowards. I
don't know. All right, let's hear it then, big boy. Let's hear it. I want something definitive.
It's going to be Huge Minion Difference that doesn't make the cut.
Any explanation or just straight?
All right. So JuliaDuck is maybe looking at finally taking things seriously. If they do, I have no doubts that they make it. As long as they put 5 people on the board at the beginning of the game, I think they're fine. Right? And if they don't do that, I'm going to be incredibly disappointed anyway. And I'm already angry. And I'll just be angrier. So it's fine. Right? You know, in for an inch, in for a mile. Trigger Happy, I got a lot of faith in this team. It has potential. It can be good. I worry about it a lot, right? This is one of the teams that I actually enjoy most of the members, and when they are on their game, they are on their game. And I don't see them slacking at the last second. Huge Minion Difference has been kind of middle of the pack. They've never approached the top of the pack. All the other teams, Trigger Happy and JuliaDuck, have looked at the top half of the board. Huge Minion Difference got there briefly, and that was completely off of the back of Trigger Happy just, like, playing awful.
HMD has beaten the highest seeded team, though, out of those teams. Just throwing that in there. They beat out.
HMD, like, throws out some really neat things from time to time and can perform. I just don't see them doing it. And so I'm drawing my line in the sand. I'm going to say it's going to be HMD.
All right, well, I'm not going to, again, I'm having trouble deciding exactly what I think is going to happen. But the interesting thing I just noticed, I missed this, the original look over, is that JuliaDuck and Trigger Happy still have to play each other. So that's going to be a huge game, honestly, especially if HMD manages to pick up a couple wins this week. Moving into week 9, JuliaDuck versus Trigger Happy is going to be an absolutely massive game.
Yeah, but like JuliaDuck can reasonably go 2-2. Huge Minion Difference has a real risk of going 1-3. Trigger Happy 2-2 seems reasonable as well. It might be a little more challenging. There are a couple more difficult games for Trigger Happy in there. Like Trigger Happy's playing Glacial Rising Phoenix. They're playing NG Blossom. They're playing JuliaDuck. They're playing Apes Together Strong. You can like argue that they should win against Apes Together Strong. Glacial Rising Phoenix and Trigger Happy, that's a coin toss to me. JuliaDuck, Trigger Happy, that's a coin toss, maybe favoring JuliaDuck. That's a lot more coin tosses than they really want, and NG Blossom's going to be very difficult for them. So they're in the range of somewhere between 1-3 and 3-1. Like they have a huge range where they could reasonably go. I think that's going to be the biggest challenge for them. JuliaDuck, I really and truly think that we're going to see them go 2-2, maybe 3-1. Like their floor is much, much higher than everyone else's.
All right, well, Mono's predicted HMD won't make the cut. At this moment, I'm going to have to go ahead and also say that, but I'm not too confident in that. But if I got to pick one, I'm going to pick HMD. What do you think, Jeff? It sounded like you're leaning towards that.
I'll probably say HMD has the hardest road to go It just depends if JuliaDuck shows up.
I think they can do it, though. I really do. But
If they show up, I think
are-
they can do it.
You guys are such bandwagoners. I just want to call that out.
bandwagoners, what are you
You're a
talking
coward.
about?
Y'all were like, no, I don't want to choose. And then I was just like, no, it's this team. And you guys were all like, oh, yeah, no, that makes sense.
I mean,
So we're
Bandwagoners.
working through it. It's a process.
It is. They could foreseeably go 1-3 reasonably. That's the tough thing. They got to end up picking up one of those tough games, which.
Of course,
Which they
knowing
can do
my
that. They
luck,
can do.
JuliaDuck's just not going to show up because JuliaDuck's biggest opponent is JuliaDuck.
Yeah, and NG Blossom probably, but you know what?
Yeah, that's just like an act of God at this point. That's how I view NG Blossom. It's just they are inevitable, and at this point, no one's picked up a win off them. Prove me wrong.
So okay, that's the last lightning round question. Is anyone going to pick up a win on NG Blossom? Have we changed our opinion about it?
Yes, they will. I have not changed my opinion on
Who's
it.
it going to be?
You want me to sit here pick? Okay,
I do.
I'll give my initial rant, and then I'll look at the schedule while they're talking, and then pick who it's going to be. But it's so hard to go undefeated. Even Iron Dragon, as dominant as they were in Split 1, or Season 1 of the ALS, dropped the game. Cloud9 dropped the game last split. Cloud9 dropped a game this split.
Couple of games.
They dropped 2 games. That's right, they lost again.
Lies.
They've been so close. Game 1 of the season, NG almost lost. If they didn't steal that Ocean Soul, I think they lose that game to Trigger Happy. Game 1 of the split. Also, last week, pretty close game for at least 28 to so minutes against HMD. And I think they're gonna have one slip up, and there's gonna be a team who just does not want them to go perfect though, and they're gonna pick up a loss.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be Glacial Rising Phoenix that does it to them.
So you think there will be 2?
I think it'll be
respect
the
that.
last game of the split. Glacial Rising Phoenix will put everything on the line and manage to bloody their nose.
I think you're both wrong.
As usual.
I think, yes, and I'm normally right, so it's fine. I think NG Blossom, as long as they don't actively troll, looking at you guys, and pick like, I don't know, Soraka mid, or something fun because they want to be jokey in like a game and not take it seriously. As long as they play the game seriously, NG Blossom will not pick up a loss.
All right, I'm gonna obviously I disagree with you, Mono, but that's I'm gonna end up disagreeing with Jeff though on who's gonna pick up the W against NG. I don't see it being Glacial Rising. I think it's gonna be either Iron Dragon or Kisses for Cats, and probably if I had to pick just one, it's gonna be ID. It'll be interesting to watch Kisses for Cats take them on this Saturday, but I think it's gonna have to go to week 9 in dramatic fashion. And Iron Dragon's they've been looking so clean, man. I think it's gonna be a tough game, but they're gonna pull it out.
I mean, the reality is NG Blossom is about to go through the most difficult part of their schedule for the split. Kisses for Cats, Trigger Happy, Iron Dragon, Glacial Rising Phoenix.
Absolutely.
3 of the top 4 are playing against them, and they're the other team in the top 4. Like, they're playing all the best teams in the last 2 weeks, and then they're also playing against Trigger Happy, who is a reasonable middle-of-the-pack team. Any of these teams are decent. I think you're looking at someone that has good team cohesion, good map awareness, that plays the game well and team fights well. That's going to be who it has to be. Iron Dragon could definitely be it. Glacial Rising Phoenix could be it. Kisses for Cats could be it. All these are reasonable options. I'm throwing out Glacial Rising Phoenix because I'm looking for the drama of it. I'm looking for the great story of it.
The final game.
Yeah, I mean, any of them
Absolutely.
could do it. This is the time.
No way they win out here. Someone's gonna pick one up.
No. All this is just playoff practice. You guys are wrong.
No.
Well, either way, we have 2 fantastic weeks of games ahead of us, so don't miss a single one. Join us for the All-Star event Friday evening at 9 p.m. EST, and then join us for Week 8 starting on Saturday. I've been Mutant Encounter. Our panel has been Kinderspiel, JefftheMagicGoat, and Monochrome94, and this has been episode 5, Highly Disputed. We'll see you all.
See you guys tomorrow.
Later.
Yeah.